You know,
Right. It helps center you, right? It's like your balance
yes,
then, Yes.
yeah,
Absolutely. And I agree. That's a form of meditation in itself. I
yeah,
mean, you're connecting, they say it's like one of the truest forms of connecting like mind and body, because essentially
yeah.
that's what you're doing.
Hey, what's up, David?
Yeah.
I got you. I hear
All
you.
right, we here finally.
We did it.
How's it going, man?
How
Finally,
you doing?
it's a
Oh,
good thing. Like I'm super happy, but it's just been
awesome.
all over, man. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm blessed. I gotta say, life is going pretty well. I think it's the same for you. I see everything you're doing. It looks pretty exciting, man.
Yes, dude. Likewise, man. It's it's crazy. Obviously, the year that we're in, right? There's so
Yeah,
much chaos going on, but I have to admit, it's been like a really good year for me in so many ways. Just growth overall, just good like looking at inside, just retrospection, opportunities coming, just clarity in so many aspects in life, and just obviously I think all this kind of forced all of us to kind of really take a big look at things. And
100%.
so I think, yeah, it's super awesome, man. Really good year for me.
Yeah, it's been a minute, man. Last I heard from you, we spoke, and I mean, you were always in the fitness thing, but your main thing was the music, right?
Right,
And
right,
that's kind
absolutely.
of taking a back burner right now. I mean, I'm sure you're a musician at heart always. That's never going to go away, right?
Absolutely, man. It's funny too because throughout these couple of years, I've had friends trying to pull me back in, and I've almost did it. I mean, I even did like a little solo thing for a while there just because I wanted to just see if I can do it,
Yeah, yeah,
just being a musician. I was like, okay, I want to try it. So I did that too, but it's one of those things, for being where we were with like the band and stuff like that. I spent like a good 8 years, going hard with music.
yeah,
At that point in my life, I had gone through so many ups and downs, highs, but lows and stuff
yeah,
like that. And it was just time to kind of step away. I was just burnt out, man. I needed a break, needed to kind of reset. And the gym was always there regardless. That was
yeah,
just kind of always my escape. So when I stepped away from music and entertainment, I was kind of like, well, shit, like, who am I now? Like, what do I do
yeah,
now? And it was one of those things where I was like, well, I was always in the gym. That was just kind of like, okay, well, I'm trying to figure things out. I just would work out. And that kind of ended up becoming something on its own, never like a career path or anything. But friends were like, hey, man, can you help me out? Or, would you mind training me? And I didn't know anything about it. I'm just
yeah.
going to work out. So that eventually started taking over and turned into obviously what it is now. But yeah, my whole agenda was music and acting, and
Yeah.
that was just crazy how things worked out. But I'm always going to be a musician at heart. And a secret, I started connecting with some old band members just by happenstance. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what
Nice,
happens next year. But yeah,
nice.
I definitely I love music. I don't think I'll ever fully be away from music.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like music is a huge part for my life too, and it always will be.
Yeah,
Like I still to this day I have a lot of sound equipment, and I still DJ for friends for weddings. It's not my career, but it's a passion, right? It never kind of leaves you. And
right, absolutely.
I'm,
Yeah, man, you were kicking some ass out there. I remember. And then I mean, we did that crazy show.
yeah,
I mean, I know you're pretty heavy involved in the scene and stuff, man. So you're kicking some butt too.
I was, and I might get back into it one day because like when it's your passion, right? And when you can't fight it 100, you can't leave it 100%. Like you can get sidetracked and do
Right,
some other things and focus on some other stuff, but yeah, for
right.
me, I think it's always going to be there. Like it's just always there. It's a part of my life. Like I've had some of the roughest times of my life where I really think music pulled me out of it.
Right.
It's like you listen to a certain song, a certain artist, and it just has a way with me, and I think a lot of people, it just reaches you emotionally to where other things can't.
Absolutely. I mean, that's why it's so powerful, man,
Yeah.
because it pulls that emotion from you. Like you feel something, and I mean, like you said, like you can hear something it could be a very dark time in your life, but you hear that song or something, it takes you back immediately. Like,
Yep.
wow, I remember
Yep.
what I was going through or something. So yeah, music's intense, man. It really is. And same thing like how fitness was, it was a part of my therapy, you know, between fitness and music, those two, that was my outlet, especially during the time you met me, man. I was pretty wild at that time. And, you know, I had a lot of family stuff going on, you know, my parents were divorced and stuff like that. And I just had kind of a rough upbringing for, you know, like I would say my later teen years, you know what I mean? Things got a little rough. So, that was just a time for me. I think I was letting loose, you know, and I was just kind of distracting myself with a lot of that stuff, you know, and yeah, so that's something that for sure, music, I'll probably admit, like saved my life too, at least around that time for sure, you know.
Yeah, it's pretty powerful how you can do that. Like, I mean, you're living the rock star life, right? But yet it still ends up saving your life, you know?
Right. It's ironic, dude. It's ironic. It's such a beautiful thing at the same time, you know. So
Yeah.
it's awesome.
So, all right. So let's bring this into the show. I still want to catch up. We'll do some more of that later.
For sure.
Something that I always do, and I have a feeling you probably do it in your own way too. But let's just all this craziness that's going on. I know you like you were fighting traffic, coming back home, trying to get
Yes.
everything in right, even today, right?
Yes.
So let's just both center real quick because I mean, literally this show right now is about growth and gratitude. That's 100% what I'm about. That's why I'm doing this, and I'm passionate about growing. And I'm very, very blessed, and I'm very grateful for all the blessings that I have in my life. So I always want to give back. I always want to figure out, okay, how can I serve? How can I use a message or a lesson or an example to where someone else can maybe feel a little less pain, and just have a little bit easier time in life. So if you would just practice this exercise with me, just real quick. Let's both focus. I got a feeling we're gonna have something big come out of this our talk together.
Absolutely. Yes.
Let's center real quick, and let's just I mean what I do personally is I ask, like I don't have all the answers. None of us do, right? I mean, I know a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on in this frame. There's a lot of stuff I don't know too. So what I ask is, okay, when I don't have the answer, I ask God, look, you know what? Bring the answer. Bring the answer. Let me be someone that can deliver this answer, even if I don't 100% know it. And that's yeah. So let's focus on that as our message right now. Let's just keep that as our center, because I guarantee you there's gonna be someone out there in the audience that's gonna listen to our conversation. Something might resonate.
Yes,
you know with that?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
That's what I stand for, man. Absolutely.
I know you do. I know you do.
My whole thing. If I can help even just one person, man, I want to be especially now. I want to be just something positive in this world. So, absolutely.
Beautiful, beautiful. On that, one thing I do want to ask you, because it's so fresh, is you got a couple new projects that just came out. Yeah, so tell me a little bit about those. What's going on with that, and give me some behind dirty secrets. What is it? What led to that?
What do you want me to start with?
Go. Just be an open book. Tell me. But the one you just posted. How about that?
Okay, so documentary.
Yes.
Really cool. Really cool. Came in contact with a young, hungry, up and coming filmmaker. Kid's really talented. He wanted to do this documentary on my fitness journey, which is really cool. I was humbled for that. And, we connected through that, and he's obviously out there hustling, man, working on making a name for himself and stuff. And, so yeah, we talked about the project. It was kind of out of the blue how it happened. And, it's a short documentary. It's going to come out. I just put out like a teaser. It's going to come out in the winter time, sometime around the winter.
Nice.
But it's just going to tell my journey, man. Realistically, it's going to tell like why I got into fitness, how it was for me, obviously ups, downs, everything in between. And then where I'm at now, and like, as you're saying, Chris, like the message is hopefully to inspire and have a positive impact. That's the whole point of it. And just showing, like, hey, this is the reason why I started. This is why I'm doing it. And it's not just because it's a cool fad right now or something like that, but it's actually important just for our bodies in general and our life, preserving, longevity in life, quality of life. So that's kind of the whole point of it, which is really cool. And I was stoked to be able to do something like that. I didn't expect to have some kind of documentary or anything done on me, period, let alone now, so it's pretty awesome, man. I'm excited about that.
That is really cool. I'm actually excited to watch it and see it. I grew up as an athlete, and fitness has always been a part of my life. I had some setbacks recently due to injuries, which happens, right? But I'm working past those. I'm trying to get back into, the shape I used to be in. But it's what I've always loved about fitness is I have a hard time meditating. Like my brain is it's like always running a million miles a minute, and
it's hard, man. It's so hard.
in the gym, or running, or any kind of fitness activity, to me that's meditation. I find solace in it. Like I can leave the world behind. I can leave the problems there. I can kind of work it out, on the punching bag or with the weights or just running, and I come out of it feeling, man, okay, I feel a lot better now, and that's always been kind of my fitness has been important for me because of that.
It helps center you, right? It's like you're balanced then, Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I agree. That's a form of meditation in itself.
Yeah.
I mean, you're connecting, they say it's like one of the truest forms of connecting like mind and body, because essentially that's what you're doing when you're working out. Yeah. I mean, meditation, I'm trying to do that more. I've been trying to get into that a lot more, especially just like different breathing techniques and all that kind of stuff. But, it is hard to do, especially when, guys like us, we have a lot going on, it's hard to shut the brain down.
Exactly.
So I experienced that too, man. It's crazy. But I'm sorry to hear about the injuries though, dude. You doing all right?
I'm good. I just, I had some injuries at work. I was a probation officer for a while. I went and did that. Still am, but I got hurt pretty bad. I had surgery on the knee, supposed to have surgery on the back. I got 3 crushed discs, but it's been, because of that, it's been really hard. Like I really, really love basketball. Is one of my big ones.
Yes.
I literally can't play right now. It sucks. I haven't been able to play for years. Yeah.
It sucks, man.
Yeah, I try it, but then I'm like out for a whole week when I go to play basketball. So my wife's like, you know what, you got to stop playing because you keep whining all week when you go play. I was playing Sunday nights, and I had to stop that. But I feel like eventually I'm gonna get there. I gotta have that hope, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so are you having to do surgery? Are you trying to put that off, or is that kind of what it's looking like?
It's last resort for me, and the reason why is everyone I know that goes through back surgery is never the same. So I'm trying to do, just rehab, the gym, just chiropractic, you name it, anything I could possibly think of to not do surgery.
Absolutely.
So I'm working towards that, and I'm managing. I still got the pains there, and you got the nerves is the big problem because the discs are crushed. I get lots of nerve issues.
Right.
But like I said, I'm working through it, and it's what keeps me going is I just have a hard time not being active. So I got to get back, man, because it's like it drives me nuts.
Yeah, man. I think we're like the same breed like that, man. You're out there. You're always I remember you just going out there doing things. You're very active, and same here. So I feel you. I had a few injuries recently too, which is weird. Like when you're younger, obviously you think you're invincible, and you always carry that mindset. But then as you get older, you realize like, oh shoot, I'm actually not, and it sucks, and it humbles the heck out of you. Like last year, towards the end of last year, I got like a really bad sinus infection. Which is crazy, man. All of a sudden, I have all these allergies, which I've never had in my whole life.
Wow.
And long story short is there's like a blockage in there, an infection, all kinds of stuff. So it was just jacking me up, dude, like throwing off my equilibrium. I had like crazy headaches. I was just dizzy all the time. It was a mess, man. And then, being an active guy, fitness guy, like there's times, man, I struggled just to get out of bed because I felt so dizzy. I would feel nauseous. Like the body just felt like crap. And there's like all kinds of congestion in here. So anyways, I ended up having to have surgery and get all that done. And, the course that was probably 3 to 4 months because it was like a good month just to recovery alone. And then I dealt with it about 3 months because being stubborn, trying to ignore it, and then going back and forth to the doctors and stuff like that, trying to figure out what the heck it is. And so, yeah, I mean, that alone, man, that drove me nuts because like here I am, used to being go, and then all of a sudden just shut down, dude. Like I can't do nothing, man, and it's not just like, oh, I jacked up my foot or I'll be okay in a few weeks. It was like, no, man, I don't even know what the hell's going on. So I couldn't do much. I couldn't work out, try to work out, and I couldn't, So yeah, that was tough, man. Injuries suck. They really suck.
It does, right? And that's actually a time in my life because I kept trying anyway. I was stubborn like you.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna keep doing it because I always was the mindset. I'm just gonna push through this. I'm gonna push through this. And it got to a point where I kept doing that, and like every time I was like, and I'm like, it's frustrating. I get injured again. I'm like, all right, go to the gym. I like stuff I normally can do no problem. Like, okay, I'm gonna do some squats, I'm gonna do some leg presses, and then my back is like, I'm like, oh my god, what happened? What'd I do? And then I'm out for like a month, and I'm like, well, that didn't
Very
work.
humbling, man.
It
It's
really
super
is.
humbling, dude. Like we realize we actually are human, and that sucks. Like, absolutely, man. That's it's weird. And then as I've been getting older too, I've been obviously going a lot more to the doctor, trying to stay healthy. I do a lot of crazy fitness stuff, so I'm even just feeling just my body mechanics in general, like doing stuff with my shoulder now too. I found out recently I have some minor stuff with my shoulder, so I got to do that, make sure I take care of it so it doesn't become something later. And
Yeah.
little things like that, man. It's like you didn't have to worry about that a while back, and now it's like shoot. So
Yeah.
I gotta pay attention now and take it a little easier and be smarter, and that sucks. It's humbling, dude. Super humbling, man.
It really is, and my sister, she was a pro boxer, so she was a personal trainer to the celebrities in Hollywood, and
Yeah.
she's still in really good shape. But she's had, I think, over 10 surgeries at this point. Because
I believe it.
it's like because she same thing. She just pushes, and she had a total knee replacement. It's like, and the
Is it
doctor's like,
ironic too, man? It's like the fitness people, the ones that are like the trainers, but it's like we always kind of get jacked up because we're doing that every day. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, it's an athlete. It's crazy. So,
It is, and I think that's important. Like what I've started to learn with, I think as you get older, because you're forced to, you learn. Okay, yeah, rest and time to heal is probably more important than the actual workout.
absolutely, absolutely. And that's always been my hard part, man, because like I'm so stubborn and I want to just get out there and work. And I remember, funny story. So years ago, I don't know if you remember, I was on a TV show, Steve Austin's Broken Skull Challenge.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
did that, and they had called me back because they test out the course and obstacles before the next season. And I had, made a good impression with the producers and whatnot. So they called me back to kind of just do a run through for the next season. And so we're running through this one course. It's like a sand pit. I'm going against this other guy, and we're wrestling. And I mean, we're literally in like gravel or sand. I don't know what the hell it was, man. It was intense.
Man.
But I went and I picked up the guy to do like a suplex, like a belly to back suplex.
Uh-huh.
But my feet literally slid out from underneath me because we're in like it's like sand basically.
Yeah.
So all his weight, and I literally fall flat on my back, and all his weight falls right on me. And I swear I probably fractured, one of my ribs or something, man, because I remember at that point, like the wind got knocked entirely out of me. I mean, I kept going because we have to, but after the fact, adrenaline shuts down, everything, I was like, oh, and like it was probably a good couple of weeks, man, to where like I couldn't laugh or sneeze or anything without it like hurting really bad.
Yep.
But again, mind you, I was so stubborn. Like literally within like maybe 3 days at most, I wrapped it. And I just went right back to the gym. I didn't go to the doctors. I didn't do any of that because I hate having to go to the doctors.
Yep.
But that's the kind of mindset I've always had. Is like, like you said, just push through it, whatever, keep going, But looking back now, I'm like, man, I don't know if that was something real serious or if I should have gone to the doctor. Or if man, I could have really made myself worse, from not resting. And I remember, my girlfriend at the time and family were like, you need to take it easy, and it's crazy. But yeah, that's the thing. And I still have the mentality of trying to push forward now with stuff like that. And it's like we can't do that now. I mean, we got to actually take it serious and recover. And then learning more about the body, it's like it's so important to rest, and just get that recovery. So absolutely, man.
Let's talk about that. Because you obviously have a lot of drive.
Absolutely.
Where do you think that came from? If you had to put a recipe to it, like where did that come from? Where did your intense drive come from?
That's an interesting question, man. It really is, because like I literally just had this conversation with my youngest sister about like maybe a week ago, and it really made me think about that because, I mean, first and foremost, I'll give credit to my parents in the sense of like I feel like my mom taught me a lot of like empathy and compassion, but my dad taught me more of like the integrity and look yourself in the mirror and that kind of stuff, right? But as far as I can remember, like I've always wanted to be an actor since I was 10 years old. It was just like in me naturally. And then I think it was more of just, I'm very competitive, and I've always envisioned things, like I look up to guys, like Sylvester Stallone and Bruce Lee and, John Clark, guys like that. And I just always remembering wanting to be like those guys, and then I moved around a lot as a kid. So I guess I always felt like I had something to prove, so I was always like a new kid, got a lot of fights growing up, and then, I was in martial arts very, very young. So that taught you a lot of discipline.
Yeah.
And I think it was always just being tested, being challenged as I was growing up. And, you know, a lot of people kind of just saying, you can't do this, you can't do that, or just challenging me, you know what I mean? So just, I think it just kind of ignited a fire inside me to like, oh, okay, like I can't, I will, you know, and just kind of feeling, you know, just like kind of like, no, like, I don't want to be pushed around. You know, that's something I never wanted to deal with. And you know, I was always challenged growing up, and I felt like there was always something that just I had to prove without even realizing it. And I think that's just kind of what ignited that drive, and just to want to be better and be the best I can. I was very competitive, you know, and I think over time, obviously, as I've started learning more and then accomplish certain things, you know, obviously it keeps that fire going. But overall, I just realized, you know, I made a lot of mistakes too, as we all do. And, you know, you look at the big picture, like, what do you want for your life? What do you want to do? Like, what are you going to actually bring to this world? You know, or are you going to actually contribute to it? Or are you just going to kind of, you know, piss your life away? So, you know, there's moments, you know, especially when I've had my, you know, my slip ups and stuff where I sit there, and I've always been like the hardest on myself. You know, I'll beat myself up for months, you know? And I just don't like that feeling. Like I said, I think that's where it comes back to my dad teaching me about integrity. The one thing that's always stuck with me is, at the end of the day, no matter what, you have to be able to look yourself in the mirror.
100%.
And that always sticks in my head. So no matter what I do, I need to be able to look myself in the mirror. And if I can't do that, then I'm disappointed, you know? So whether I win, fail, draw, if I'm able to get up that next day and look myself in the mirror, then I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And that's what matters to me. So that's, I think, a lot where the drive comes from too. Just wanting to be able to look at my life and be proud of what I've done and who I am, truthfully, and say, hey, you know, I gave it my best shot. I did what I could, what I wanted, and I could look myself in the mirror at the end of the day, you know.
That's awesome. Yeah, I recently did a Tony Robbins workshop and Unleash the Power.
I love Tony Robbins, man.
Yeah, me too. Me too. But it's you just made a statement that he tries to train people, and I realized it when I heard it. You just said it. You said, you know, someone says you can't, well then I will. And that's huge, and that's a huge statement that not everyone has naturally within them. And I was just talking to my brother-in-law about this. Like, same way. Same attitude, same drive, same determination. And somewhere along the lines, it got ingrained into him. Right. There's a lot of people that go through their life without that. And and I don't know what it takes to get there. Tony Robbins, he has a pretty good way of making people like ingrain that statement within themselves. So when you hear I can't, that means I will or I must. I will and I must.
Exactly.
And that's awesome that you said that, because that's something that a lot of people don't have. You know,
it's crazy. Like, the more and more people I've met, you know, along this journey, especially in the industry and stuff like that. And it's never something where it's like, I'm better than you. That for me, you know, I always want to be clear. It's not like, oh, I think I'm better than you. It's more of like that, like I said, it comes down to what I want to achieve with my life. And throughout that, you learn there's certain kinds of people, like you just said, they don't have that drive naturally. And it's weird to me because we know who we are, right? And what we're used to, so we expect the world to be like us. You know, but as we get older, we realize it doesn't work that way, you know? So when I do see that, it's always interesting to me, because it's hard for me to grasp the concept of just giving up or quitting or saying something's too hard if you really want something, you know? So, and as I've gotten older, you know, I understand a lot more, especially with people's upbringings or lifestyles or stuff like that. I get it. And it does take a certain tenacity, a certain grit to keep going. I mean, man, dude, I've been knocked on my butt so many times in life. It literally has, like, I've been, like, last year, dude, was like the worst year of my life, at least that I can remember. It was tough, man. It was tough. But it's that little spark inside, man, that little fire that says, like, dude, if you can just keep pushing, like, what if? You know, there's just something inside me that's like, what if? You know, like, it's so easy just like, gosh, man, this is just too hard, or this isn't work out. Like, let's go somewhere else, you know?
What?
But I look at things in my life that I've been blessed to accomplish, like even just TV shows, right? Like, how many thousands of people, you know, they go through to get on a TV show. And I've been on like 3 major TV shows, you know, and I'm like,
huge,
well,
right?
Yeah. I'm like, shoot, if I could do that, then why can't I do something else, right? And that's like the mindset. I always look back at things where it's like, dude, when I thought I couldn't do something and I was fortunate to do it, I'm like, that's proof that you really can do what you want to do. So to me, it always comes down to discipline, you know? So it's not so much the fact that, like, you can or can't in the sense of like, oh, it's luck, or, you know, certain talents and stuff like that. I think it's more of just the discipline of, like you're saying, having that drive, that grit, being able to push through. I think if you can withstand the storm long enough, eventually you're going to get sunny weather, and that's what it comes
Yeah.
down to. So yeah, I agree with you. There's so many people I've come across, even just all these years in this industry that have come and gone. You know what I mean? People I've met along the way that they've given up or walked away, or I don't even know what they're doing now. And it's crazy to see that, but that's life, right? It's going to kick you in the butt, and you got to find the right path for you.
Got to get back up, right? That's the most important thing. You brought up a good point. That grit, I think, comes from that.
Right.
I know I've been through it. You've been through it. Like my brother-in-law's been through it. Like we've had, like I said, I don't even like to talk about it. It's weird. I don't even like to talk because I feel like I had a great childhood and a great upbringing. But at the same time, I did have some shit. And then some pretty serious shit. And so I was knocked on my ass quite a few times at a young age. Started young. Didn't grow up in the best neighborhood. Didn't have the greatest surroundings. My parents, my family life was probably the best that could ever be. They were amazing parents. I had a great family life. But like I said, the surrounding times got in a lot of fights. I went to 3 different high schools. It's like I had started at a young age. But I think that's important is that getting knocked down. I think that's really important. Having those failures and then proving to yourself that you know what? I can get back up every time. I can work through this, and I'm going to attack it, and I'm going to do better next time. And I think some people don't have I think we naturally have that. And this leads to my first question. Is your why? Like your why has got to be something that's so deep and such a big thing to you that you would absolutely get up and keep going every single time, even when you get knocked on your ass. So absolutely. With that, like what is your why? And it evolves over time. But where was it like when you're younger and where is it now? Like what's your why? What keeps you going? What makes you keep getting back up?
That's always a good question, man. I love that question. It really forces you to think and remember exactly why you started. But I'm going to backtrack just a little bit on how you're saying, we do need those failures, right? I really believe that. And I think because I had full force gone through, I've always been, I never really thought about the risk. It's one of those things where maybe it's just naivety, or I don't know if it's just being courageous. I don't know which one it is. Maybe a little bit of both, right? But I've never really concerned myself, at least when I was younger, at the risk that comes into everything I'm going for. And because of that, obviously, I've fallen to a lot of failures. I've had a lot of downs, been knocked down and stuff like that. But I'm thankful for that. At the time, you think like, man, this is horrible. It's awful. But I truly believe, like you said, I think we need those because that is where I think that drive comes from, that grit comes from, obviously character strength comes from, and you really find out who and what you're made of. And it's like that reassurance of like, I can keep going. I can keep doing this because like you said, I truly believe everybody is born with that. We do all have that, but we just have to figure out how to pull that out of us. Because I've never really believed, I think, sure, yeah, there's some people that are just naturally talented, gifted, of course, but I think that only gets you so far. And from personal experience, I mean, I'm around a ton of talented people all the time. But I think some stuff that has worked for me over the years is the work ethic, the drive. And I've seen that kind of outweigh a lot of these people that are talented. Because, I mean, there's a lot of people that are way more talented than me, man. But when it comes down to the work ethic, I'm like, well, I'm super competitive. I'm like, I will work your ass, man. You know what I mean? So it's like, let's go. But
Mamba mentality, right?
Exactly. And it's like, without having those fails, or those being kicked in your face, so it's like, it's hard to find that strength though, because you don't know of that yet. You know what I mean? So I think, especially at the time that we're now in the world, people want to be so pampered and coddled, and we got to be so PC, and it's just, I feel like it's awful because a lot of people are afraid to take these risks now, or to fail or get knocked down. And it's like, we need to embrace that. We truly do. And maybe that's just old school mentality or something, I don't know, but it's going to make you so much better in the end, just your growth, your character. And then obviously just being able to take on the world, because we all know the world isn't a very nice place all the time. So super important, man. So bringing it back down to my why, it's definitely changed a little bit over the years. I mean, obviously when I'm a kid, it's more of like, I want to be a movie star. I want to do acting. It's so cool. Obviously that's awesome. But then, you know, as I get older, I realize so much that like I truly love doing this. Like I literally could wake up every day, like you don't have to pay me a dime and I would enjoy doing this. You know, like I love creating. I love producing, being in front of a camera. I love entertaining, hosting. I love all of that just naturally, like who I am. And then on top of that, you know, the upbringing I had, now we weren't poor by any means, nothing like that. I mean, you know, my dad worked his butt off. You know, my mom was a good mom, middle class, you know, but we went through our struggles. I mean, there were some times there where we really struggled, you know. My dad got injured and we, you know, lost a lot. And, you know, so I always think about those times. And I want to be able to give, you know, whenever I have a family, if that happens, my family a bigger and better life than I had, you know. And like I said, my parents did the best they could, you know, not knocking them at all, but I want to be able to provide for them and have a nice life, more opportunities, have them, you know, avoid stuff that I had to go through, you know. And at the end of the day, I do want to make my parents proud. You know, and me and my dad butted heads for years. You know, we didn't talk for years, and we rekindled our relationship. And you know, I do still, regardless of what we went through, you know, I'd like to make him proud. Whether they already all say they're proud of me, I don't feel, you know, I'm not where I want to be yet. So that's a big part of it. My mom is my best friend. She's done everything, man. She's literally been like an angel in my life, dude. So for her especially, that's a huge driving force. Like I think every day, like, man, I want to just take care of my mom. I want to give her the world. I want, you know, I'll never repay her for what she's done for me in my life, you know, but at least try to do what I can in my way, you know.
Awesome.
So that's a huge driving force, man. And then, you know, as it's evolved and I've gotten older and learned more too, especially with business and stuff like that, I really, really want to give back, man. Like I truly want to be able to provide opportunities. I want to do things like, you know, like in the industry, there's so narrow-minded, right? There's a certain path. I want to just like break that, dude. Like I want to offer opportunities because I've had a lot of doors slammed in my face. Just as much as I've had doors open, I've had more slammed in my face, you know? So I want to be able to open those doors for some people, you know. I want to provide, you know, especially with my network, right? I want to be able to provide new job opportunities, new entertainment opportunities, you know, build a new space of people and be able to give back. You know, I've worked with charities, you know, we work with charities. I want to continue to do that. Maybe eventually start my own and just really help and be a big part of this thing, bigger than just myself and, hey, I want to be on TV or something, you know? So that more so in the most recent years has been a huge why for me, is being able to just go out there and help and create and provide with other people, you know, not just selfishly anymore.
That's awesome. You know, I have through the Tony Robbins thing, I got a business coach, and he's awesome. And one thing that he made me realize, I've always been driven, but I was always focused on, and it's only because that's what I knew. It was like, all right, the goals, they got to be smart goals, smart, measurable, you know. And I would do that, but it was always money. It was always like money, and I've never really been driven with money. I mean, yeah, money's great. I've been poor. I've been pretty well off. I've been middle class. I've been all over the scale right there. But money, to me, like I look at it and I'm like, you know what? I made a lot of money one year. My life wasn't all that much different. You know, that's the way, honestly.
Dude. Right,
you know? And so it wasn't my driving force. But one thing, like what you said, that is one of my driving forces was, well, you do realize if you're successful and you do this and you do that, and yeah, you're going to make money with that. What that will allow you to do, that's what drives me, is now, wow, that will allow me to hire some people, start a charity, do this. And that to me is a bigger measure. Now I'm putting an imprint on this world. I'm leaving a legacy. I'm helping and serving other people. I'm pushing them. And that's huge. That's huge. So it's like, sometimes we have this trap of, well, you know, I don't want to be greedy, you know, I don't want to make too much money, but you know what, if you spin it, well, the more money I make, the more good I can do.
Exactly. And that's literally, man, you hit it on the head, because I've thought about that the past few months, and that's literally the mindset is, where it's not so much about me just wanting to make money, right? And just, well, what can we get with it? But that's exactly it. The more money we have, the more we are able to do, man. And that's what is amazing about it. So, because I think there's a stigma, you know, if you want to make a lot of money, you're like, oh, you're greedy or you're selfish, or money hungry. But it's like, no, like truly, it's like you can do so much more. Like I say, it takes money to make money, but you can do so much more with money, you know, and that's a huge factor. So yeah, absolutely, man. Like, that's awesome.
Beautiful. Amen. Let me go to the second question. And what I want you to do is just imagine that young David, you know, and it has to be that age. I put 10 in the question, but it's the age is basically the one that still wanted to be like an astronaut, you know, wanted to be the rock star, wanted basically had those grandiose dreams that right now people say, oh, that's a pretty big dream, you know, but back then that's who's telling me that's a big dream. This is what I want to do. But, you know,
we were so much more brave when we were kids, right?
Yes, before you got knocked on your ass, you know.
Right.
But what would if young David came into your life right now, like what would be surprising to him? What would he say you gave up on? What would he be like, wow, like proud of you about? Like just I want you to picture young David coming in your life right now and just what would go through his mind? Like, what would be the questions you would ask you? What would be his observations about your life?
Oh man, that's a good one, man. Young David, gosh, you'd have a lot to say, that's for sure. I think so. First part, I think he would probably kick my ass a little bit in the sense of where I think there's been times, like I said, where I maybe lost heart a little bit, maybe lost belief in myself. You know, there's definitely been those aspects where I let the world kind of take over a little bit. And even like you said, with money, it became more about a driving force in money, and I still wasn't happy. And so you lose sight of yourself. So I think in that aspect, you'd probably kick my butt a little bit and be like, dude, who the hell are you? You know what I mean? Like wake up, buddy. Like, you know, get yourself together, believe in yourself. You know, you can do this. And then on the flip side, there's also been a lot of stuff that I was fortunate enough to accomplish, you know, like for instance, performing with some of my favorite musicians that I idolized growing up, which are now friends, TV shows, you know, stuff like that. I mean, there's been a good mix there, you know? So I think in that aspect, he'd be very proud of me and, you know, kind of like, I told you so, you can do it, you know? But he'd definitely be telling me, you know, you still got work to do, you know, there's still work to do. Don't lose that heart, keep that spark. Because absolutely, man, when I was a kid, like I had just had this spark, man. I was just like, you could take on the world. And that's something that I felt like was an advantage with me and other kids, especially growing up, that I learned that didn't necessarily have, you know, or didn't know how to find it. I just always had that. And I felt over the years, I started turning more and more like the other people and losing that spark. And recently it started coming back and I started finding it. I'm like feeling it again, thankfully. Yes.
Nice.
And it's amazing. And that's where I feel like he'd come back and say, there you go. Hold on to that. Keep that going. Because yeah, there's been those ups and downs, man. I'm sure, you know, you've had it too, where you kind of lose sight of that little kid.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So absolutely. It'd be an interesting conversation for sure. Fun though. It'd be fun.
Yeah. That's like, I've recently kind of and I think a lot of people are doing this. That's why I'd say, I don't know, I can't forget the exact month, but right when we were in the pit of COVID, you know, when it first hit really hard, I was for the first time in my life, like really down, like, and I was in a funk and I was like, who am I? What is going on here? I allowed it to happen to me basically. And then it was Tony Robbins. He says, you know, you got to have a mentality of no, COVID didn't happen to you. It happened for you.
Right.
And when I made that, I was like, wow, this is profound because literally at that time, yeah, there was a lot of loss, a lot of income. The business that I had wasn't doing so well.
Yeah.
That I had, and I just broke $1 million too, right before that. And then this hits and I'm like, oh, so it was
congrats
like,
on that, by the way. Congrats on
you. Thank you. But yeah, like literally had like, I think I'll make 200,000 this year on that business. It's like just took a nosedive. But
yeah,
I'm going to make it back.
We're all feeling that, man. We're all feeling that, dude.
But
you know?
so I was in that frame of mind, you know, and then you can't go outside. You can't all the stuff you can't do. And me that I can't be tied down. I love my freedom. I love to get out. I travel a lot. Like, dude, I was like, whoa. So I got no fun. But then I switched it around. I was like, you know what? I'm spending a lot more time with my family. I have time to refocus. I don't think I've ever had this much time. Like I had time to think. I was binge watching TV shows. It's like I've never been able to do that. Like I had all this time. And so, and that's why I decided I've been wanting to do a podcast for, man, I think about 10 years, a long time.
Wow.
A long time. When it first came on, I was like, ooh, I like that. That's cool. I want to do that.
Yeah.
And that stems from one of my childhood dreams. I wanted to be Geraldo back when I was
that's
like on my own talk show.
Right. Hey man, that's cool, dude. Everybody's got their thing, man.
That's it. So, and I think that's happening right now. I see a lot of people that this literally, we're going to think back, instead of being despair, it was horrible. No, no, no. 2020 was the year that woke us up. It's the
Yes,
year that recentered
100%.
us.
Dude, it's a blessing. I truly think it's a blessing. And it's the ironic part for me with this whole thing is like, I had already been going through hell the year prior. So when this hit, I was just kind of like, I'm already there. You know what I mean? I literally just got out of recovering from surgery,
Oh,
and like, boom, this hits, man. So I'm like, well, I just went through hell already. So it's not like a big transition now,
yeah.
So it was actually like a breather for me. It was actually like, that's where it's so weird, because I know like the world crashed, right? And everybody just kind of went under. And there's maybe a few moments there where I was kind of starting to feel it. But for me, it was something I think I needed, because I needed
Yes.
that breather of like, man, I just got my ass kicked this past year. I was just exhausted, beat up, had to reset, had to figure things out, pivot, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff. So it provided that time. It provided me able to look at myself, look at life, everything that's going on, like everything, and not feeling like rushed or am I falling behind or shit, I got to catch up, or, it was more of kind of like a reset button.
Yeah.
And for me, that was just amazing, because it literally brought me so much clarity. It helped me just figure certain things out that I want to do, reassess everything. And literally, like I said, it's been one of the best years of my life. It's just been so many blessings this year.
Good to hear.
And it's I don't want to say that like without having like, compassion for people and stuff like that, because I get a lot of people really got hit hard this year. I mean, myself too, I got hit for sure. Like I lost a lot of money, but it's one of those things for me. I like the bigger picture of everything that's lining up and happening. And it's just so awesome, man. So awesome. And like you said, I started focusing on different things, like I really needed to brush up on my Spanish. So I started doing that again. I got a bunch of stuff done for a lot of my projects that, had been kind of just slipping away from me. I finally caught up with all that. I did everything for like the business strategy with my network, going into next year now. And that's so much better. I mean, there's so many little things, man, that like, you put off or get behind that like you don't realize. And then when you have that time now, it's like you can really dive in and really just take care of stuff. And I've not been one for a lot of TV, because I feel like I'm always so busy and I need like every freaking minute. So I didn't watch a whole lot of TV because I felt like guilty if I was, because there's so much that I wanted to accomplish, get done with this time. And my motto going into this, when this all started, it literally was keep your foot on the gas pedal, because I realized dealing with so many people, like you said, it comes down to the grit, the tenacity, right? So I knew a lot of people they're gonna crumble right now. A lot of people are they're gonna let their foot off the gas.
Yep.
And not to sound like this, but I look like it as an opportunity to get ahead and say, hey, this is a time for me to just not only catch up, but get far ahead now and really just push. This is going to show the real hustlers, from those who are just here, right? So, and that's the mentality even to right now. It's like, and there's been moments where I see myself kind of letting off a little bit. I'm like, oh, all right, reset.
Back on it, right?
Yep, get back on it. Yeah. So, and that's what I wanted for the rest of this year. So when I go into next year, I'm just like kicking ass, dude.
Yep.
So that's yeah, like you said, man, it really caused you to really take a look at everything. And I have noticed that with a lot of people, they're going out there now trying different things. They're doing stuff that, like you said, they wanted to do and haven't. And I mean, same thing with me, it's just really, it's really cool because it gave you that opportunity, granted, a lot of people, unemployed, lost jobs, took hits with their businesses. Yeah. But there's also a bigger picture, and I think that's what really matters.
It is, and you really hit the nail on the head with that. I mean, if you look back in history, every economic downturn, every like anything that really happened bad in the world, that's when the most opportunity is available. It's there for the taking. I mean, you got so many. I mean, back our last one, 2008, 2010, literally that's when Uber came out, and that's when I mean, there's so many Netflix. I mean, like all this stuff happened during that downturn. And right now we're going to go through the same exact scenario. And that's why you have the right mentality. Put the foot on the gas, because now's the time. Things are on sale right now. Things are on sale. It's easy for the taking. The competition is way less. So now's the time. Let's grab that. And one thing that I love that, again, at Tony Robbins, I hate to keep referencing him, but
no, he's great though, man.
He really is. He really is. As warriors are born in winter. This is winter.
Yes,
this is winter.
Yeah.
This is winter. And we're warriors. We're warriors.
That's how I look at it, man.
this is
That's how
our
I look.
season, man. This is our season, you know?
Absolutely. It's go time, man. We're in that fourth quarter, you know. It's kind
Yep.
of like, what are you gonna do, man? You gonna put up or shut up? And
Yep.
like I said, I've seen some friends and stuff kind of going through it and crumbling. And you know, like I said, I'm there for anybody who wants to talk, chat. I've had some good talks with friends and whatnot, you know, and we all go through our stuff, man. You know, like I said, I went through mine, I think more so last year. So I
Yeah.
get it, 100% get it. But yeah, it's, you know, at the end of the day, it's like, man, it's life is up to you. So we can let this just hold us back, knock us down, destroy us, or we can take advantage of the opportunity that we're given. So
That's it. If there's one message I could give to people out there struggling right now is like, you don't take your foot off the gas. Now's the
yeah,
time to keep fighting, get that grit, keep fighting. Because now a lot of times, here's what happens: is you got knocked in your ass. A lot of people. All right, so you're on your ass. Now what are you going to do? You got to make that decision. And here's the really cool thing about it, which is where I think it's an opportunity, is you may have had that comfy job, yet the benefits, all that stuff that you were just like, well, you know, I'd like to take the risk. I have this dream, and I really kind of want to do this, but you know, I'm too comfortable. I got too much to lose if I let go of that. What is cool here is sometimes for some people, it literally has been snatched away. So
yeah,
now it's like, well, might as well take a risk. I might as well go after my dreams now. And I hope that people, and I know people are doing this, or taking advantage of that fact and really using this as, okay, now it's time to pivot. Now it's time to reprioritize and let me follow what really is truly important to me. I know I've got lost in the corporate culture, and you get lost in different missions, and
right,
you take the wrong path for a little bit. You get sidetracked.
right.
And like this year, man, I'm crystal clear in what I want to do, and I'm right on the path. And it feels good, man. I got to tell you, it feels good to kind of get recentered and reprioritize what truly is important to me.
I
Um,
agree. I think that's what it is, man. It is really a good eye opener. It made you really evaluate life and what truly is important. And like I said, I think that bigger picture is more important than if we lost money or, you know, got to find a new job. Right. You know, I truly believe things happen for a reason, you
yep,
know, and we could really come out of all this so much better than we were before, you know, and didn't even realize things that like we should do or needed to do. You know, now we have the opportunity to do. So it's a blessing for sure.
100%. And on that thought, let's go back to young David that was probably, you know, in winter, you know, and that
Yeah.
for me it was probably 13 years old. I think it was when I started. That was my time. But whatever that time was, when you got knocked in your ass a few times, and life kind of smacked you around. Um, Maybe you didn't make the best decisions. Like maybe you were like, you knew the right thing to do, but we all do it. You never make the perfect decisions. You make one. There was a turning point for some people, basically, and it could have been multiple. But what would you tell young David at that point? Look, I'm going to save you 20 years. I'm going to fast forward. I might be successful now, but I could probably have been twice as successful with this advice. Like what would you tell young David to do? Maybe, or maybe not do. But what would be the focus? What would be the message, that basically that advice that's going to save time?
Oh man. So, you know, there's been many lessons, many things that have taught me a lot over a span of, you know, adolescence to now. And biggest thing would be, one is patience. Be freaking patient. Two, more empathy for sure.
Nice.
Definitely learn and practice more empathy. And then three, shut up and listen. Seriously, because like, you know, when you're younger, you think you know it all, man. You know, you think you know the world, you have to figure it out, and you don't know jack, you know. So it's that, me especially back then. Like I said, I always felt like I had something to prove. So I was like a hothead. So I felt like I knew it all. I'm going to show you. But you know, I would tell younger David, like, open your mind, shut up, listen to what these people are telling you. It is beneficial. It will help you, and seek out mentors. You know, like definitely
Ooh,
seek these
yeah.
people out. You know, that's gonna help you. It's not someone talking down to you or telling you what to do. It's literally knowledge that you can utilize. So, being the punk rock rebellious kid I was, you know, I'm like, oh, F the world and authority. You know, I know it all, and you know, so like, so I definitely tell young David, dude, listen, buddy. You know, open your mind, put on the brakes a little bit, be patient, work on empathy. You know, definitely that would save me of a lot of issues back then, for sure.
That's really good advice. I like that. That's really good advice.
Hard lessons, man. Trial and error. You know?
Yep. That's awesome. Where where's your main platform? Like where can people find you and follow you and see what you got going next? I'm sure there's a whole lot more coming.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot more coming. Definitely a lot more in the pipeline. But if you want to keep up, find me on Instagram. Long freaking handle, David_Christopher_official. If you got that. I just signed on with an awesome new streaming platform called Live It, which we are live streaming right now. So, Chris, you saw me kind of reaching out. I'm chatting with people.
All right.
Yeah, but so check out Live It. They're really cool, man. They're gonna change the game. You can find me on Facebook, Dave Christopher official page, Twitter. I'm David C. So I mean, Google, find my social. You'll find me on there, David Christopher. But yeah, IG's. I'm probably most active on IG, to be honest.
Awesome, and all those will be in the notes for this show. So the listeners, you go to the notes, you get all the links to all David's stuff.
Awesome.
And then what one final message for the audience. I want you to leave some gold right here. So one final message for the audience. What is it?
To sum everything up, man, I would just say, this may sound cliche, but life is short. I think this year's definitely proven that. So if there is something that you want, something out there that you need to do or you've been putting off, go for it. Don't worry about the risk. Now, I mean, I'm not saying just go run in front of a bus or something like that. Calculate, common sense, obviously, but what you can gain from, even if you fail, what you'll gain from that is so much more valuable than tucking away in a comfort zone and never trying. So whatever you want in life, there's something you aspire, something you need, something you just want to do, 100% go for it. It's going to be hard. You're going to go through some hard times for sure. It's going to be a struggle and you're going to have to put in the work. But one thing I can promise you through experience is if you put in that work, it'll be worth it in the end. So in a nutshell, get out there and make it happen.
That is awesome, and that's gold. And one thing that reminds me of is so a lot of people preach this. I'm sure you've heard it. Gary Vee specifically, he says, I've spent some time in some nursing homes, and you're never going to have someone say, I wish I didn't do that. The regret is one thing, but it's what they're always. You're on your deathbed and you're looking at your whole life, and you're like, I wish I would have done that. It's like, I wish I would have taken that risk. I wish I wouldn't have been scared to do that. That's the big one. So 100% with what you're saying, it aligns with that. So yeah, I agree 100% with that. That's a good one.
Awesome, man. I love Gary Vee, man. He's
great, right?
He's on point, man. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, listen, man, it's been really good catching up. I love to hear about everything you're doing. I wish you the best. Much love, and I can't wait to see what else you got coming.
Likewise, brother. Thank you so much for having me. It was fun catching up with you, man. It's been a while. Congrats on your show too.
Thank you.
Wish you all the success, man. Thank you so much, Chris.
Thank you. All right, David, you take care, man. We'll talk soon.
All right, brother. Later.
All right. Later.